loose cannons. Let's talk about Chris Brown. So apparently, Chris Brown released a new album called Brown. So creative. It's like that's the best you can come up with, sir. How many albums you got? And I'm gonna name my album Brown. I'm like, really? Because I believe he has an album called Breezy. Chris Brown. Now Brown. It's like the lack of originality with this wannabe high yellow Michael Jackson knows no bounds. But anyway, so apparently one of the websites, which one was it? Was it Pitchfork, right? That gave him a 1.3 star review. Talking about it's a piece of shit. And now this is somebody who says they don't care, but clearly you do because you went on your IG stories and did a whole video on how we gonna show these people up. I don't give a fuck what these other people think, and proceeded to throw shade at Zara Larsson in the process of your little rant. So I have the clip. Thank you, Twitter, for having for somebody recording it and putting it up there. I'm gonna play the clip, and we are. Hold on, because I knew it was going. I knew it was gonna play. Hold on. Okay, so because this damn thing loves to refresh. So we're gonna play the clip. Once again, as I said before, we're gonna come back and shout out to Complex for having this video. And we're gonna come back and we're gonna talk. So oh,
Team Breezy. I know people want me to get on here and, say some sad shit, but fuck that. We kicking their ass, goddammit. We ain't letting up. I'm gonna keep my foot on their neck and we ain't stopping. You hear me? We doing this motherfucker tour. More shit to come. I'm not gonna tell you what's more to come, but it's coming at the end of the day. I don't give a fuck what these niggas is talking about. I know exactly who my fans is, and I know exactly who hearing this album. If you're not my fan, I don't want you to listen to my shit. Go listen to motherfucking Zara Larsson or somebody. Fuck me.
he fidgets too much. I'm like, girl, what drugs you on? But anyway, so my thing is, if you don't care about what people are saying, because clearly you do, you wouldn't need to subject yourself to going on social media in your Instagram stories so that way it disappears in 24 hours and say with your whole chest, fuck these N words. And if I don't want you to listen to my music, which is fine. Art is subjective, music is subjective. There may have, who knows, there may have been a bias in why, Pitchfork decided to give you the review that they gave. I haven't listened to the album Quiet as It's Kept. I haven't listened to a Chris Brown album in years. He's not my cup of tea. He's not somebody I listen to, nor do I care about. But since you over here in this whole situation and you giving us something to talk about, we're gonna talk about it. But my thing is, this comes from a place of insecurity because my thing is, if you don't care, then I wouldn't have needed to subject to do a video and throw shade at other people. But I know some people, but they'll be running around saying stuff about him. Okay, so what? Let these people say what the fuck they want to say about somebody who they don't know. The best, as a wise person once said, success is your best revenge, or in the words of Beyonce, the best revenge is your paper. So what you should do is just go off, prove to the people that at the end of the day, y'all don't have to like my music, but I'm still selling out stadiums. I'm still successful in my own right. And I'm not saying that is right for whatever, but clearly he's got a plethora and an army of fans who don't give a damn about his past and a lot of the times that he's been abusive to people or he's assaulted people or he's said crazy stuff online. People like the bad boy problematic behavior. That's something you got to deal with your pastor. That's something you got to deal with your therapist. That's something you got to deal with the man upstairs. I don't care. My thing for me, I'm not a fan of his, so this ain't affected me in no way. But um it just goes to show that yeah, the insecurity is obviously showing. You do give a damn what these people think because, like I said before, if you didn't care, you wouldn't have did a video on it. You wouldn't have had to go on and do that little spiel that you just did. So, and then he do the whole Team Breezy thing because we know what that is. That's that typical celebrity gaslighting shit. Nikki does it with the Barbs. They all be up in there doing it where it's just like somebody says something or you do something problematic and y'all try to play the victim and the whole thing. And I throw a little thing in it. My fans must support my, and then y'all be able to, yeah, and Will, yeah, we got you, Chris, we got you, we team Bree. Y'all do all that same bullshit and not realizing the forest, seeing the forest for the trees. So I'm just like, okay, man, y'all continue to get caught up in, drinking that Jim Jones Kool-Aid if you want to. So now, but I get why he went after Zara Larsson because she has criticized him in the past. According to the report, they said Larsson notably has publicly criticized Brown, who, and of course, you got to remind people, in 2009, he pleaded guilty to assaulting Rihanna in the past. In an interview with Cosmopolitan in February of this year, for example, his name came up when she was asked to name an artist who would never be found on one of her playlists. She said, "There's so many artists I have blocked on Spotify, and all of them are like abusers. You certainly wouldn't find like a Chris Brown song." And then we already know that Chris Brown and Usher are co-headlining a North American tour next month. So, and it's a stadium tour. So, and boy sells out stadiums. Well, the man, because he damn near 40, still acting like a fucking child. And look, him and Usher about to go out on a tour together. And look, he'll be able to show that, yeah, we successful with the tour and all this other stuff. But that's not all. Because I went over there to the neighborhood tour and y'all are shady. So they have fans reacted to him throwing shade at Zara Larsson in this whole situation. And let me pull that up because even Azealia Banks jumped up in the conversation. Her probably the girl who released one of the worst albums of 2026, by the way, said Zara Larsson wants to fuck Chris Brown so bad. LOL. She's always coming for him. Well, we could say the same about you, that you probably just want to fuck every artist that you talk about like a damn dog. I mean, would that be considered valid? Because you stay talking about celebrities. So there's one. Another person said, Zara Larson responds to Chris Brown, IDJF is not like someone was listening to you anyway. Oh, is this recent? Oh yeah, that's with him with the Team Breezy thing. We just played that. They said the day Zara Larson fills 49 stadiums and brings in $300 million, you call me. Well, why are y'all worrying about somebody's money and somebody's paper and y'all sitting there listening, thinking like, well, she don't have any reason to say what she's saying because she's not as successful as Chris Brown because she's not um a worldwide superstar, whatever the case is. I don't know Zara Larson's numbers. I don't know how successful she is. I know there's a lot of people that like her, but so as I said before, they're both successful in their own right. What's she saying here?
Right on top of someone you don't like.
Oh wow!
Just like
is Chris Brown here?
or you can just find a little space.
One artist we would never find on a playlist of yours. There's so many artists I have blocked on Spotify. And all of them are like abusers. You certainly wouldn't find like a Chris Brown song. Hi.
Now, a lot of people have already signed the debt.
I see that.
You can either write on.
Okay, so that's one. And it just seems like she's a bit look, she got a hard on for Chris Brown, apparently. And I'm not saying that in a good way. So look, what the commenters are saying is different. So one person says he's beefing with a female, shocker. Another person said all the Chris Brown hate is ridiculous. So people can have an opinion without it being called hate. Y'all are so lazy with that read. Another person says Zara, he's more successful than you before breakfast. The only Zara people know is the store. I don't know who Meredith Breezy is, but she clearly paid for her blue check mark. And you're literally naming yourself Meredith Breezy as if you got a rat's chance of hell of getting fucked, let alone marry a Chris Brown. So now another person said, I like how Zara stands on her business and stands on her morals. Another person said, anyway, not in Midnight Sun is starting to sing it. Another person said, who DF is Zara Larsson? Well, Google is free. You can look her up instead of writing this tired ass post. Another person said, never heard of her a day in my life, yet you felt the need to respond. Another person said a lot of Black women don't care about men being abusers, which is why the comments are full of mostly Black women supporting Chris Brown. Glad my mom raised me to be a Black woman that doesn't support abusers. Another person said, man, F Chris Brown. So I do agree with that. And that it does seem like that's where a lot of it comes from. It's sad that we have a lot of Black women who sit here and look the other way, that you have a Black man who has been notorious for abusing Black women. I mean, last I checked, Rihanna's Black, right? And yeah, he's dated racially ambiguous women in the past, like Karuchi Tran and a bunch of others. And he has made derogatory comments towards Black people. Yet y'all look the other way on that because he write good songs and his dick big. We've seen the pictures, so we know that Chris Brown is well endowed. And all the other things. So y'all love moving the goalposts to justify y'all BS. But if that's what you want to do, like I said, that is something you got to deal with in the eyes of the Lord, or as Ms. Mabel would say, the Lord, Medea. Her, the Lord, you got to deal with your pastor and with yourself when you look in that mirror. So, as I said before, Chris is gonna do whatever he gonna do regardless. So, yeah, Chris gonna do what he's gonna do regardless. It don't matter. It is what it is. He's still gonna be out here selling out his stadiums, doing his stuff. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, his album did appear in the top 5. I don't know how many was sold, how many streams he got. I don't know how many physical copies was sold, but he's gonna be successful regardless, even if he giving y'all so-called mediocre ass R&B tracks, according to some of the people I was hearing about when they were talking about the record. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Chris Brown clapping back at people who criticize his new album? I'm like, look, art is subjective. People are always gonna find reasons to criticize whatever it is you do. You got to fly above the bullshit and just onward. Keep your eye on the prize. Keep doing what you do, and don't let these people detract you from what you're doing. But it makes it hard to like Chris Brown sometimes when, based off of some of the crazy stuff that he says and does. And I can't condone people who are abusive to others. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below.